How's it going, everybody? My name is Ben Volk. I run a little business in my community, which I absolutely love. And, this channel and these videos are really going to be going over my experiences uh, doing this and just this grind and just trying to grow this business as big as I can and help as many people as I can too. And so, one of the thoughts that I had kind of like late last night, but early this morning, as I was thinking about what to talk about, is just the importance of authenticity and how, you know, being perfect and being polished is not as important as being authentic, because being authentic often feels better, right? When you are able to admit your mistakes and when you get forgiveness, that's a good feeling because it moves things forward instead of sitting in your thoughts, baking on a mistake you may have made, may have didn't, blaming other people, all these kind of negative things surrounding trying to maintain this image or maintain this ego really too. So in my business, I can't pretend, right? Like I do my very best to be myself 100% of the time. And that's actually tricky in the insurance world because we're always supposed to maintain an image of professionalism, always supposed to be, super perfect and by the numbers, and everything has to, be very rigid and straight. And that's really not me as a person. I like to be silly. I like to, make people laugh. I like to break the ice that way. And I think that's been what's, been the thing that's made me effective as a professional and as just someone in this financial services space. But you can't fake it. If you are looking, I think, to accomplish really success in any endeavor, you have to be authentic. And whether that's the thing that pleases people or not. Some of the most successful people I know are not people pleasers, and they are authentic. So you at least get the real them, and that's important in communication that we're communicating and be real with each other. So going back to kind of like being authentic and being on this, and this is my insurance business, right? But like if you don't feel comfortable with being like a Facebook friend, or talking to me casually on the phone, or having a conversation like that, like it's really hard to want to work with you. And I feel like just the service suffers too. So there's this whole kind of qualitative element to the business. And I'm still kind of a solo show, so perhaps if I had a department specifically to deal with people that I didn't gel with or whatever, maybe that might make it a little easier, but I don't have that right now. So at this point I have to protect my time and really make sure that I am only working with really the people that we can have a mutually beneficial relationship with, and that the people that I like to work with. So yeah, and I don't think that I should have to sacrifice that, and I don't think that my clients should have to sacrifice that either. I think, buying insurance, this has always, in my opinion, been a friend and family business mainly, and usually the people that I sign up, if they, wanted like the cheapest rate or something, and I happen to have it, but there wasn't really any like, rapport or bonding, or we couldn't really find any common ground, well then they're gone as soon as I'm not the cheapest anymore, and the whole thing turns into a big nothing burger and a waste of time. So I would advise people to put a little bit of thought into what am I getting qualitatively from maybe my insurance, or whoever I buy my car from, or my phone company, whatever. It doesn't matter, because that qualitative element is not often reflected in the quantitative measurement or how much something costs. So if we look at kind of the way our journey through, life that way, as far as just trying to be authentic when we can, trying to either trust what we see if we're a visual person, either trying to trust what we hear if we're an auditory person, or trusting the way we feel, and this is me all day, if we're a kinesthetic person. So, yeah, and that's the type of business I run. And I would caution anyone, getting into this or wanting to start an insurance agency that doesn't just love people naturally, because I think you need that in this business. I really do, to do it successfully and to grow it, to the level you want to grow it to. But yeah. So, theme of today is be real with one another. Don't pretend. Create real relationships, and we all win together. Drop a like, subscribe. I want to hear what you guys think in the comment section. How do you run your business? What's your relationship like with your insurance agent? Who knows? But either way, I really appreciate watching, and subscribe if you want to. Thank you.